Peace and blessings and namaste to all light warriors, workers, and everything in between. It is I, Sophie, today, and I'm going to apologize for the inconvenience. There was so much going on. Um, we scheduled it for 5, but the YouTube didn't show until 6 p.m. And then we couldn't get in touch with Brother Shamar. But that's okay because we're not going to stop any show. What I have backstage with me is Sister Cat, and we're still going to talk about this plant medicine. We're still going to talk about DMT. We're still going to talk about, astral travel and things of that nature because we're supposed to. I personally have taken an ayahuasca trip. I've also personally have taken a mushroom trip. Okay. And I want to talk to you about those a little later on. But without further ado, Sister Cat, and it seems like the goddesses is going to run the show today. Okay. So Sister Cat is behind stage right now. I'm going to bring her on. And she actually wrote a book concerning this and medicinal purposes that she used to heal herself and how we as a collective can benefit from these things. So I'm going to go ahead and bring her on. Oh, did y'all get to see the intro? And did you actually like it? Okay. All right, let's go. Here comes Miss Cat. Come on, girl.
Greetings, everybody.
Hi.
Hello. Greetings.
Okay. So I was explaining to the audience how we were supposed to have Brother Shamar on. Okay. And Brother Shamar has been MIA for a bit, and we don't know why he's MIA. Okay. And I'm hoping that he didn't get lost in the Amazon somewhere. But it doesn't matter because everything happens the way that it should. So therefore, the goddesses are getting ready to run this show. And what I need for you to do is, you're going to talk to us about the book that you wrote concerning plant medicine and how you have used it for your own personal healing. And then we're going to get into some stories and some story sharing. And I actually pulled up a nice little article that I want to share with everybody too, dealing with the weight of the soul so that we can, make sure that everybody knows just how real this is. Okay. So you got the floor, Miss Cat. Yes. Take it away.
Okay, well, thank you everybody watching live and watching the replay for joining us. And yes, I was sharing with Sophie that I have probably a different experience with plant medicine than other practitioners or other shamanic practitioners. Mine in specific is I have a book that I have published. It's on Amazon and it's called Circle of Smoke, Cannabis for Spiritual Use. And basically the cover of this book is ancient goddess Shishat, and she was the ancient Egyptian goddess of higher learning and some say connected to the cannabis plant. And basically my journey with cannabis started years ago, and it had to do with helping me with various ailments. I was using it for depression. I was using it also for pain management and those types of things. And, it's only been up lately that it's becoming more acceptable, right? It's always been like this thing, like, I'm grateful that it's coming back to where we can accept these natural remedies that the Creator has given us on this planet to use for those reasons. So I started my journey. The first time I partook of that, I was like, oh, I don't feel anything.
Wait a minute, Cat. Wait a minute, Miss Cat. The audience, Dreadful Cosmin, is asking for you to say that title again. Okay, and I'm going to try to type it in here. Okay, go ahead.
And also, yes, let me also tell you the pen name. So the book is Circle of Smoke, and the author name is Tahira Olufemi. That is a pen name that I write several books under.
Oh, you're going to have to spell that, honey.
Yes. Can I type it in somehow?
Sure. Go ahead and type it in. Go ahead and type it in.
You can't see that, can you?
No. It's too shiny.
Okay. Circle of Smoke, Cannabis for Spiritual Use. I'm going to go ahead and type that in now.
Cannabis for spiritual Okay.
and I'm also writing the author. Don't worry, I type fast.
Oh, good, good,
And
good, good.
so this is available on Amazon currently.
Okay.
And it basically talks about the concept of Netter Central, which is prayers carried on smoke. And we know several indigenous communities, Native Americans believe that smoke is sacred. Several other, groups of people have always believed that smoke is sacred in some way. Not only does it purify the environment, and even the ions and the chemicals in the air and the energy in the air,
Yeah.
it also can be a means of setting your intention and carrying it up. This can be done
Wow.
with cannabis smoke. It can be done with incense smoke, um, sage smoke, any herb that you want to burn for specific purposes. Some people are really knowledgeable on what different herbs can do, um, more in a more varied way than just cannabis. So yeah, we can definitely use that to set our intentions and to carry it up into the cosmos, the universe, whatever you want to call it, to help us to manifest. But we do know that manifestation and all those things begin mostly with the intention setting and the power of our thoughts, right? So
Right.
those are just it's just a tool to help us to kind of hone in our energy, so to speak, so that we can get to that point where we can really solidify, the potency of our intentions, because that's where the magic happens.
It
So
does. It does.
where the magic.
How does it? Do you think that it? How does it affects your pineal gland? And
Oh,
do
I
you
think
get
it
that
opens.
DMT
Yeah,
experience?
I think it opens you up in different
Okay.
ways to different perspectives. I think it also sort of works on softening the ego, because
Oh,
I've seen some people, um, use in different ways, whether it's smoke or whether it's through drops. Because not everybody will like smoke, right? Not everybody wants to
right.
smoke. Some people have issues with their lungs, or some people just don't like the smell of it, or whatever have you. But there's so many ways that you can benefit from that plant. Edibles, oils, tinctures, all of these things. So yeah, there's a variety of ways. So I started using it medicinally as a medical patient here in the state that I live in. It's only
Okay.
legal, medicinally for now. We know that's going to change, but and it took away my depression. It took away my pain. I had really bad pain in my knee because of an old high school soccer injury, and that became really agitated some years back, and I was almost to the point to where I was considering getting a knee surgery done, or a knee replacement. This is what the doctor told me, and I'm really glad I decided not to go forward with that at the time, because that wasn't meant for me at that time. In fact, I probably would have regretted doing it, because who knows what complications might have happened or whatever. But so then I got my medical card, and then I started on that journey. And I went from not being able to walk up the street. I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
was difficult for me to walk in the grocery store, all of this stuff. I had a walking stick at one point.
Oh, wow.
I had a knee brace. I mean, it was bad for a while. And now I walk without problem. Now I'm able to dance again. You've seen me dancing.
Yes.
And
Yeah. 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 You dance a lot. You're
I'm
right.
always dancing, and I'm so grateful for the plant. And spiritually, I feel connected to the plant. So I
Okay.
call myself a priestess of cannabis, because it's some people feel connected to different plants in different ways, right?
Right.
Spiritually.
Right.
And some people feel deeply connected to ayahuasca. Some people feel deeply connected to um, hapi, which is another plant medicine that's found in the rainforest and things like that. And they use these plants in a very sacred way. It's not
Yeah.
like just to get high or anything like that. It's really a deeply healing plant. So it's
Yeah.
really all
Because
about, yeah, it's
go
just
ahead.
about
Sorry.
connecting with whatever plant you feel sometimes calls you. You know.
Okay. Okay. So kind of like Avatar, right? you know, how we can connect with certain trees and
Yeah,
plants and things like that. And
absolutely.
everybody knows that any type of spiritual experience actually takes place in the pineal gland, right? When that part is open, our souls actually have weight. I found that amazing too. And I want to share that article with the audience a little later on. But what I really wanted to bring out was the dangers, you know, behind it if you aren't spiritually pure, you know, at that time. You know, some people, and I like that you hit on that we tend to take things, you know, casually because we want to have an experience of some sort, you know. But when it comes down to this, is a sacred practice, and it's been practiced by, you know, indigenous tribes, just like you said, all over. And it's all about healing. It really should be about that healing experience, and opening up to the universe. And sometimes people actually experience like travel, you know, when it comes down to that. So
Oh
talk
yeah.
to us about the dangers of it. Keep
Ooh,
going.
yeah, like you said, if you're not in the right space energetically, you can use it to your detriment. It can be an opposite effect, right? You can use it for escapism instead of
Yeah.
dealing with your problems, right? We got to really be careful. There's a fine line, especially when you're dealing with really high amounts of THC.
Yeah.
um, that
Yeah.
you're not just taking it to escape your life and not do your inner work and all of that, because people can use it for that.
Right.
Instead, if you're using it from a space of wanting it to open up your mind and helping you to connect with the divine, to connect with your higher self, and to see things from a different, because it will definitely have you seeing things from different perspectives that you may not have considered before. And that's a gift of the plant, definitely, because it'll
Okay.
have you like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Yeah. I took a ayahuasca trip. I took an ayahuasca trip in either I can't remember if it was 2020 or 2021, right? And I already went. Now, first of all, let me say this. I did not have a shaman with me. Okay. I did not have anybody that had experience to walk me through this. For some reason, I was just big and bold enough to try it, you know. So we tried it. I had a brother that was a master herbalist out here in Durham, and he sent all of the pieces of it, the ingredients, but we literally had to make it ourselves. I guess it was
Oh
illegal
wow.
to just ship it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I go and I take this trip. Now, the intention behind the trip was for me to, you know, go back into my childhood, right? And
Okay.
to heal some of the things that was bothering me, my relationship, you know, with my mom and things of that nature. So because I went in with that pure intention, and I did, you know, I wasn't eating because number one, when it comes down to ayahuasca, it will make you sick. Okay, you
Mhm.
will feel oh my god, that bitterness in your stomach is very nauseating, and
Yeah.
it's meant that way so it can purge you, right? It can purge anything that's not supposed to be there out of you. But I could not get it to purge. I mean, I put my fingers down my throat. I did everything to try to get that nausea out of it, and it just wouldn't go. So when I end up going on this ayahuasca trip, I go back, right? And I see my mom as a 16-year-old, you know, as a child, raising a child, and I was in that space, and then I saw myself, you know, as a little girl, just being annoying, you know, to a teenage mom, you know, and I felt this level of empathy, like the things that I didn't understand, you know, the things that she wouldn't tell me, you know, about her childhood and her raising, her upbringing. I was able to see that. Then the funnier part that ends up happening with that is after I go through that process and I identify with my mother and her relationship with me, I end up going upwards some kind of way, right? And I'm in the cosmos, and I'm stretched out. I'm stretched out like what they would call what is it, the Vitruvian man or something like that. You know how he's all stretched
Yeah.
out.
Yes.
So I'm
Yes.
out here stretched out, and I have these beings that is examining my body and pretty much telling me that I need to lose weight.
Really?
Yeah, they
Oh,
were like examining my body, and so you know that was my whole trip, and I left out of there like, oh, okay, well, thanks a lot, guys. You know,
wow.
I,
Now let me ask you: did these beings feel familiar to you at a soul level, or did
yeah,
they?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They were definitely light energies, most of them feminine, because we were looking down at the earth. It was like three of us. We were looking down at the earth, right? And we were seeing a lot of fire and stuff that was going on, like wars, or I guess. And we were, talking about it like, they need our presence so bad. This is what these goddesses were saying.
Why
But
does
then
this
when they had me
sound
stretched
familiar?
out, when they had me stretched out, they was pointing like to my fatty parts. It was like, you gotta, you're down there representing us. So, you know,
Wow.
so that was my experience. It wasn't
Right.
negative,
Right.
but,
Right.
it was interesting.
That is interesting. Yeah. So how long ago was this that you did the ayahuasca experience?
It was either in 2020 or 2021.
Okay.
Because after that experience, I waited another year and did a mushroom. But I want to hear about yours.
Okay. Right. Right. Well, I went over to Oakland, California, because
Okay.
it's legal there. And this was when it became, legal there to be consumed. It's in a specific area in the Bay Area, right? So um, I went and had this experience with mushrooms for the first time with a good friend of mine, soul family, really. And this person is very knowledgeable on a lot of plants, mushroom, ayahuasca, cannabis. And so I took small amounts, right? It's in the form, was in the form of edible. It's like a little piece of chocolate.
Okay.
And they were like, just eat a small amount because it's pretty potent. So I'm like, okay. So it's important to note that the environment was very mellow. Okay, this was already planned out. There weren't like a bunch of like people walking around, animals, barking and doing things like that. The lights were low, and it was just very like the intention was like permeating in the air that this was going to be this, mellow, pleasant, positive experience for me.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, oh, wonder when it's going to kick in. You always wonder when something's going to kick in when you're trying it for the first time. So then before you know it, you'll notice a shift. This is a shift in the energy. Like you can feel the energy in the room, in the space, like a vibration, almost like a pulsing, kind of like a heartbeat feeling, like everything has
Uh-huh.
its vibration. And this is always happening, but we're not in these altered states of mind, or
Right.
to really like take it in.
Right.
So it began with feeling the energy shift. And how to explain it, it was just waves of energy coming at you, and then just opening you up. And so I had this experience with this person who then gave me a divination while this was happening. And I received a lot of information from spirit that confirmed a lot of things I had on my mind, which is beautiful because this was a way that the universe, the spirit, was communicating with me and helping
Right.
me. So everything really was kind of perfect with that experience. Everything just feels more intense. Music feels, you can just sort of like understand even how the structure of music is in a different way.
Right.
When you listening to music, when your mind is in that state, you're not just listening to it, you're feeling it and you're hearing it, and you're
Right.
understanding it from a totally different perspective, which I can't even really explain. It's just wild. So that was positive. But I also want to share the opposite of that. So that was my first experience.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. my my second experience, or actually my third experience, was I wasn't prepared. I thought it was going to go like the first time, when it didn't go that way. So this was during the daytime. I took my chair outside, and I figured I would just, sit outside, and I would look up into the sky, and I would, do a little sky meditation, and I would just see what it is that I receive, what downloads are coming in, what sensations, just to really study the experience.
Right.
And it didn't go well because, let me tell you something, your perception of noise is very different. you're
Right.
very sensitive to certain noises and frequencies, especially sharp or abrupt noises or anything like that. So the neighbor's dogs began to bark very loudly. And then I was just like, I was jumpy, right? And then I heard a crash coming from inside my home. So I go inside the house, and my cat knocks the television onto the ground along with my fireplace thing. So I'm freaking out.
It is magnified, right? Like boom.
It's
Yeah.
like, no. Yeah, everything is magnified. And so your nervous system is in an overload if you're not in the right environment for this. If you're not in a peaceful, calm environment, preferably in nature, if you can go out and be somewhere remote, or at least where there's not many people around or not much stimulation, you can enjoy
Mm.
the experience a lot better. Because interruptions, sharp noises and things like that really interrupt the process. And then instead of you focusing on the healing experience, you then get into your head, and then you let your body's nervous system take over, and it's not pleasant.
I can
Another thing,
tell.
this lasted hours. This
Oh
lasted
my God.
about 6.5 so hours. So
Oh my
then at
God.
that point, then about an hour and a half later, my daughter's school bus pulls up, and then once again the dog is barking. So, and then I'm trying to act normal so that my, it was just a while. Thankfully, my partner was home to sort of help me, help clean up that, the mess that had happened, and to, get my daughter in the house and all of that. I mean, I could function, but everything was just on a higher, uh,
Yeah.
just a higher state of stimulation that I wasn't used to. And
Right.
so yeah, it
Right.
actually makes me think about sometimes the children that we say are on the spectrum, how their senses are elevated to certain noises and textures and things like that. Um, so if that's how it feels, you really have to understand that, that is a thing. It's a real thing. So when you're having a bad experience on mushrooms, make sure that you plan this in advance, and that you set more preparation into it so that you're in the right environment and you're with the right people. I've also heard people say they were in a good environment, but they didn't really like the people in the room or the people around them or in the group. And that can also make for a bad trip. That could also bring on maybe um, paranoia in some people. Really just depends. It's a very individualized experience. I'll tell you that.
What
But
if you are already in a negative space? Like,
ooh,
would you go into anything like that without first, cleansing yourself, or raising your vibration, ridding of all negativity? Would you even attempt to do something like that without it? Right.
no, you might find yourself in hell consciousness. So, like,
See?
it's no, I wouldn't do that.
And we
Definitely
talk
wouldn't do that.
now. You heard her say hell consciousness, because
Yes.
both of us, we kind of understand the different levels of consciousness. How you can be in that lower vibrational state where your reality will actually reflect that. We would like to talk about Dante's Inferno, right? You remember Dante's Inferno was like this amazing story about people navigating through the realms of hell. And as I had spoken and did a video about that earlier, people are experiencing these forms of hell right here on earth. There
Oh
are people who are starving. There are people who are getting raped and beaten. There are people, I mean, you could not imagine the living conditions of some people, because right now you're in a state of being blessed, right? You're in a state of being abundant, but that's not everywhere. Okay. So what she's saying is you can lower yourself. Like if you are in a lower vibrational state and you take something that amplifies that, ain't no telling what your world will look like, during that time,
crazy.
and what you're manifesting into your reality. Right? Go
Yes.
ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Absolutely. No, I just said that's crazy because it could happen. Um there's been several people who have had near-death experiences that have had those type of experiences, not even on any plant medicine. And
Yeah.
there is a thing as the such thing as hell consciousness. And that vibration, right? But the good news is that no, it's not an eternal thing, and everyone has free will to get themselves out of that hell consciousness if they choose to. Every soul has free will, including
Right.
the power to lift oneself or ask for the assistance to be lifted out of hell consciousness. That might be for another podcast, the whole hell consciousness topic.
Oh,
But
we're interested. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, and so I want to tell you about a beautiful experience, the last one I had with mushrooms. And everything was prepared this time. I had my situation right, my atmosphere right, everything was cool. I closed myself off in my room. I put my pets in the garage with their food and water. I had
Good.
everything ready this time. And what I did was I put on earphones, and I have a playlist on YouTube that has psychedelic it's like a psychedelic meditation experience, and
Okay.
it really is geared towards when you are in an altered state, or when you are partaking of plant medicine, right? So on this experience, I saw myself in different ways. I um i saw myself in animal form. Okay.
Okay.
And let me just preface this by saying I've always been really afraid of frogs and amphibians in general. um
Really?
yeah, I don't like them. I just can't deal with them, right? So
Okay.
I just it's they freak me out. But I love and respect all animals, right? But they just freak me out. So guess what happened on my trip? So I find myself in a forest, and it's raining, and it's just a very peaceful feeling. And all around me is greenery, is trees, and I hear other animals, and I just feel at peace. And it's beautiful, right? And I'm studying myself, and I'm a frog.
Mm. What do you think that lesson was? What was that designed to get you over that fear, or what?
I was shown another existence that I experienced as the animal that I detested in this place that I'm at now. And the experience of that animal, and knowing that it's sentient, and that it feels, and that in that simplified life form, really I was experiencing bliss. Like, it can be experienced in different levels. And I felt at peace. I felt connected to the earth. I felt connected to the other animals and the plants around me and the ecosystem and everything. And I felt all of that, which was
Mm.
amazing and mind blowing to me, that I was
That's
shown that. Um, yeah. And so this trip continued, right? And I was feeling sensations coming in, right? It was a sensations of, it felt like breathing, right? And I was breathing in like the energy of the cosmos, and then breathing
mm,
back out. And as I was
mm.
doing this, I was overcome with intense emotion, and I began to cry, and I didn't even know why I was crying. And what I later discovered after it was over, after I meditated on what happened, was that I was purging this life and lifetimes of pain and heaviness and negative attachments to my being right now. And I was purging all of this pain from my childhood. Similar, I had situation with my mother, which was not ideal. So I was purging this pain. I was purging all of that. I was purging pain I wasn't even aware that was in me, that was stuck in me, that had to come out. Really,
Mm.
sometimes you have to purge in order to even get to the next level spiritually, because you can't be weighed down by certain energetic debris when you're trying
Right.
to go higher. So this carried on for hours. I was between ecstasy and crying. There was a cycle, almost like inhaling and exhaling. And it was amazing. I went through portals. I experienced feeling the emotions of people connected to me in this lifetime now, of all of the emotions they felt in prior incarnations towards me, which was bizarre and a lot. But I felt it almost as if I was that other person. I was feeling the feelings of other people from their perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like I said, it just makes everything different. It just opens you up to different perspectives and to deeper levels of understanding. So
Right.
that was an amazing, that one was an amazing trip for me, and I learned a lot, and it really helped me to see people in a different way, and everyone around me, animals in a different way, um, everything, everything.
And
And
you're
sometimes,
right.
hmm
Go ahead. No, I was just going to piggyback off of you, stating that you're right about when it comes down to reaching certain levels of spiritual awareness, having to purge that from you, because that heaviness does not allow you to ascend to higher levels. A lot of times we tend to accept our trauma from our past, or things that we've been through as a part of our identity. This is what makes me who I am, and we hold on to that, not even realizing that it's damaging to us. Okay. And I tell people all the time, who do you know who you are? If we were to strip away, your pain, your suffering, your identity that people have given you, the labels that people call you, if we were to strip all of those things away, would you even know who you are? Because in the core of that, many of us, we going to get downloads anyway, right? But we're spiritual beings, we're going to get it. This is what dreaming is for. This is what astral travel is for. This is when we daydream and things like that. Our brains are just magnificent and so connected to the cosmos, when we do that. But at the same time, is it possible that our own trauma will block any of these experiences off? Number one, ego, right? We have to go through these ego deaths. Not many people are willing to go through the ego death because, let's face it, most people don't think anything's wrong with them. you know,
that's true.
you're walking around your life, thinking that everything is okay, but you have not even addressed that portion of your life. So when you're dealing with these trips that you're taking, which you're what you seem to be describing to me is that you're getting stripped layers and layers and layers away until you have now find out who your pure soul is, who you really are. Right? Is that what you're saying?
Oh yes. And when you strip all of that down and you come back to yourself, it's a joyful experience. I hate to say joyful experience, but it is. It is, because all the labels that people impose on you and the programming from your childhood and all of this and people you've dated and all of that, um, you have to like get rid of all of that, and you have to, like you say, be ready to experience the death of the ego. And it's not easy to do that, because it means that you have to, number one, admit that there's things you have to work on, and then you have to put into action actually doing the work.
Right, right, right. Absolutely. Um, I have found that a lot of times when we are dreaming, right, or when we at night. First of all, what do you think dreaming means? Before I even get into it, what do you think actually happens when we're dreaming?
I think dreaming can be studied from the brain perspective scientifically, and also from the soul, because
Okay.
sometimes we're dreaming and it is our subconscious, and it is things that we may not be thinking about in our conscious walking everyday life, but it's still there, that needs to be worked on.
Right,
Sometimes we dream about our fears. A lot of people dream about their fears. um, and then when you get from the when you get away from that perspective, then there's a soul perspective. And yes, we travel out of our bodies when we're asleep. Our bodies only require sleep, not our souls. So when we're
right,
sleeping, we're out doing what we want to do in different realms, different dimensions here on Earth, different parts of Earth, the cosmos. Some of us are going back to talk to councils that we, get information and guidance from.
yeah,
While our
yeah,
bodies are asleep. Um, and any manner of things, you can go and do anything, and there's just so many things you probably do and you just don't remember. But Yeah, I think there's that. And then there are people who do dream work, dream work, healing and dream work, and things like that. So,
Well,
yeah,
no, you just can't throw that out there and not explain what it is, sis. Now, what's dream work?
no, dream work. Some people do a lot of work in the dream plane, and sometimes they
Oh
do
yeah.
more work on the dream plane than they do here, or they do work on the dream plane, and then it trickles down into the 3D, and it shows up in things that you're doing. A lot of us plan things with other souls during dream work, things that we want to
Mhm.
accomplish here, um, information we want to share, things we want to learn. Some of
Mhm.
us want to access the Akashic records in our dream state so that we can, download that information and use that in our waking life here. Um, Really, it's limitless what we can do in that.
And for those of you who are watching, you'll kind of know when you are doing dream work. You ever have plenty of time to sleep, but you wake up and you're still exhausted. Your soul still feels tired. You know, you could be out there, helping your ancestors. You could be out there, correcting some karma. You could be out there repairing things. I have a lot of people that are in the DLMS chat. They're not in here today because the time and everything got all messed up, right? So that's my fault. I apologize, but they will be watching this. But they will tell you, that they go out, like this, that they'll travel, they'll repair grids, they'll remember going underground. That this part is so active. Okay, once we have unlocked that divine seat of the soul, because that's what they call the pineal gland, right? It's the seat of the
Right.
soul, and it's our connection to the divine. And even when we were, in our little Bible studies and stuff, and Jacob was wrestling with the angel, and what he said was, I saw God face to face, and I named this place Pineal or Peniel. Okay. But that was actually layered because he wasn't face to face wrestling with them. But it did take place in the mind. And that's where a lot of communication happens, even in our dream states, even in our waking states, if you are one that can tap into those types of consciousness. The problem is, I believe that many of us can do it, but we don't know how to do it. And if you are one that was doing this like you and I since we were a child, nobody trained us on how to do this. So it's hard to be trained for me to train somebody else how to do it because it just was,
Right, right.
it just was.
Yeah.
So, you know, facing a lot of fears, facing a lot of fears do come up in your dream state, things that are sitting in your subconscious mind, things that you have forgotten all about, things that may have harmed you. We think it's enough to just bury certain things. We want to forget about it. This happened to me, I want to forget about it. But your
Yeah,
soul don't let you forget about it. It keeps coming up in one form or another. If it's not in your everyday life, when you're walking around, it's going to happen in your dream state.
absolutely.
Go ahead.
And another interesting thing that can also happen in the dream plane is you can be shown alternate timelines so that you can
Oh,
appreciate where you're at right now. That has happened to me. I
yeah.
have
Ooh,
seen it. Oh yeah, it'll make you be grateful for the life you have, because I personally believe that everybody may not share this, but I do believe there are parallel realities. I believe that
I do too.
um, you know there's different timelines for every decision we make, right? And
Right.
every option, right or left, there's another timeline that splits off that happens, and then we have alternate realities where we have these different versions of ourselves, and we are living different. I have a version of myself that's a librarian, a version of myself that's a DJ, a version of myself that's married with 5 kids, one that's single, and so there's different versions of us, and some of these timelines are negative. Some of them are lower vibrating versions of ourselves, right?
Right.
Or some of them are lot or experiences that are negative, and sometimes you'll be shown that so that you can be grateful for what you have. you know.
what you have accomplished
Right. So
and the
let's say
goals that you have reached.
you're in a relationship and you're like, maybe you're on the fence or you're whatever. Um, and then you have a dream when you're shown maybe you're in an abusive relationship in this other timeline. Maybe, you know, the opportunities that you have now never manifested in that timeline. Maybe you're ill. Maybe you're
Mm-hmm.
terminally ill. Maybe you're, all of these different things. So, I personally been shown that a lot, especially earlier in my spiritual journey, when I was really learning about the power of gratitude and how gratitude attracts more blessings. And so when you're shown things that you don't want to experience, um, that's where that comes in. So
Yeah.
that happens.
That gratitude thing
Mhm.
is one of the key catalysts to mental alchemy and learning how to transmute anything that comes to you negatively for your greater good and work it that way. And
Right.
you will find out that when you're able to do that, you will continue to attract everything that is positive to yourself because we're products of energy, right? And so what we put out naturally comes back to us. So if I'm in a state of peace, if I'm in a state of joy, if I'm in a state of gratitude, if I'm in a state of love, then naturally I'm going to attract that to me. Okay. And that should be my norm. Now, I'm not saying that we're not going to come across, you know, the opposite.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, yeah.
As long as we're on this earth, there's always going to be that negativity that's
Yeah.
there. But once you learn how to actually see it in an empathetic way and realize, you know what? I can't get mad at this person because this person is unhealed. Okay. I can't be upset at this situation because it wasn't meant for me. Okay. I'm not going to target somebody just because they are targeting me.
Right.
They're going to have to learn on their own because all I want to bring to me is something that is positive and is of the divine, of that highest white light. And that way we keep climbing and climbing and climbing and we get out of those hellish realms and we
Yes.
start getting into that God consciousness, and it literally revamps the way that we think and see everything around us. And you will become a target because of that. And you know it.
Oh yeah.
But but we know that we're here for a reason, and we're going to keep spreading this joy and let people know that what we're talking about, we're not making up. Okay, this realm has so much depth to it. The spirit realm is so strong. Yes, I believe in parallel universes as well. I believe in alternate timelines based off of the decisions that I make. I experience that when I experience deja vu, and people don't even realize a lot of times what deja vu is. But I have found three explanations of it, and a lot of it is either catching up with yourself on the timeline or even jumping to the timeline that is the most agreeable timeline for you because you'd have messed up somewhere down the road. Okay, so when that happens, that experience can't be explained. And we got scientists trying to figure it out. We got all these people trying to figure out what deja vu is, but you know it when it happens. You're like, I know I've done this before.
Feeling
I
because
didn't
you
dream it.
feel it.
You know it. You know that you've done this before. You know that you've lived this life before.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know,
Yeah.
that's one of the things.
I have
Go
a
ahead.
question for you.
Yeah.
I have a question. I experienced deja vu that way as well. I think people can experience deja vu a lot of different ways, and another way that it's possible to experience this is viewing yourself. Let's see, how do I put this? Have you ever just had a moment in time and you're just like, this feels familiar, like I have seen myself in this scene before, but not, it's almost like you're seeing it from when you're on the spirit realm and you're reviewing your life, or you're viewing different scenes from your life that you're going to go into your next incarnation and things like that. Pivotal moments, important moments, or even maybe just simple moments like noticing something and you're getting a feeling that this has happened. I have had instances where I have had these feelings more and more, and that's like, well, I feel like I've viewed this scene before. It's familiar. Okay, so it's happening again, because it happens to me often. um, and usually this happens to me so that I can see something from a different perspective. So it's very interesting how that
Mm,
happens too.
that's good. You know what? I want you to, if you can, and if you feel like it, I would like for you to have to write that story to me, because that's a point of deja vu that I have not experienced. Most of the time when it's happening to me, it's in real time and it's right there and it's like a smack in the face,
No,
and to the
you
point that
did. It's
I'm
right
yelling.
there. Mm-hmm.
I'm not seeing myself there. I'm just there going, what, what just happened,
Mm-hmm.
Um, our ancestors, our ancestors were really, really good and disciplined when it came down to meditation, astral travel. I remember reading in the Emerald Tablets when, the ancestor Tahuti was talking about how our souls are trapped in our bodies as if it was a prison. Okay. Like the the thing that can trap you the most is the flesh, right?
Yeah.
And so he was talking about how to loose the soul from the flesh and how he had gotten to a state of mastery where he can come and go at will, and he was able to see things being created in the ether realms just by men's thoughts. But
Wow.
he had said that the way to do it, he had described this process that he was doing where he was like laying down and he would get himself to vibrate, and he would vibrate to a certain speed that had to loose the soul. Now that has never happened to me ever. I don't know how to sit around and do that. I can say that, but I'm thinking that the vibration that he's talking about may have been actually a state of consciousness, that causes us to vibrate on a higher level, as opposed to me laying on my bed trying to do this.
Yeah.
So I just want to know, you know, in your opinion, why do you think that we no longer practice this? Why do you think that it has become such a taboo?
It seems like anything that has you go inwards to achieve anything for your soul spiritually is frowned upon, right? It's the norm to seek externally outside of yourself what's already in you. So we're not taught that. People aren't taught that growing up. I certainly was not taught that. I do want to go back and say, I just want to clarify, when I'm seeing this scene of myself, I'm not like
Uh-huh.
above myself. It is like me. I'm seeing it in the now, just like you experience. But it's more
Okay.
like a feeling. Yeah, it's more like a feeling, like I've felt that this has happened, that type of thing. Right. And so,
Mm,
yeah, I just wanted to clarify that. I haven't
I
reached
love
that
it.
level yet.
What level of what?
The level of what you were mentioning, of the gentleman that was able to come and go at will, that thing,
Oh yeah, yeah,
type of things.
yeah,
I
yeah.
was so excited
Um,
that you were going to talk about astral projection, because I've never been able to at will astrally project. I astral project at night and in meditation sometimes, but never like, okay, I'm going to sit here and hold this crystal and I'm going to picture. And I've tried so hard to do it, and it just doesn't work. Sometimes I feel a spinning sensation, right?
mm-hmm.
And I feel as if something's happening, but what I think that's stopping me is maybe a little bit
Fear.
of fear. Yes, that's it. Like a
Mhm.
little bit of fear of, if that happens, like what's gonna
Well,
happen.
for the record, I can't astral project at will either.
Okay.
This is not something that I actually practicing. It just happens.
Right.
And when it happens, I can't explain when it's happening or why it does happen. But I do know that in the evenings, a lot of times I do leave here, and I leave here and I go to school. And I have described these settings to it. Oh, for anybody that's in the chat, I did put the link in the chat. If you want to come in, if you want to join in and talk, or if you want to just ask some questions, you are very free to do so. So what I was seeing, when I would leave at night, and this was going on, oh my God, it was like the whole 2020 to 2021, I was in school every single night, every single night. And it was always a group of us that was there. I mean, it's a lot of people. So I feel bad because I know that my brothers and sisters are there, but they're not connecting to it right then and there. So when I say things, hey, I saw you in school, they're like, what are you talking about?
Right.
So we would go to this school, this university, and it looks like white. Everything is made out of white alabaster stone, right? Everything's the curved architecture. There's a giant statue in the middle of the courtyard, which I still cannot see the face of who that statue is. And there are different groups of beings there in different classes. And I, even in one of the classes that I was in, I saw myself writing some very complex equations, like algorithms and things like that. And we were teaching each other. It was as if we were teaching souls what to expect when they entered this realm. You know, it was like a real surreal experience being up there. And sometimes I'm the student sitting there and somebody else is teaching, and they're robed beings, but that the level of intelligence is beyond comprehension what goes on up there, you know. So I was going there like nightly against my will. I don't know if I was being taken or whatnot, but I was sitting in these classes with plenty of brothers and sisters, and that's why I'm saying we're on this earth, and all of us have not awakened to that yet. And so it becomes very difficult trying to explain some of these advanced concepts or advanced knowledge to somebody who just not there yet. They haven't been taught that yet, and they can't receive it.
Yeah, and you really have to, like, I know for me that can be frustrating too, but you know, the way I see it, I wasn't born knowing all of this either. You know, everybody
Right.
like come into it in their own timing. And let me tell you, the scene that you described feels very familiar with being in school and the other side. And I've had dreams where I'm teaching and also being taught. And there
See?
was one dream that my daughter was next to me, and it's like we were in a circle, like in a circle, and I you know, I wake up and I remember. I don't remember all of the details of what the buildings and things look like, but the white light and crystals and just a lot of brightness
Mm-hmm.
resonates with me, and also teaching and learning at the same time, which is very
Yeah.
interesting. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. All types of beings were there. And the intellect was phenomenal. You know, I even to see myself doing this and knowing that I have a hard time with fractions, you know, I'm up there with these. I'm
Mhm.
up there writing these equations, and you know, and it's like they're algorithms, and I can't figure out what I thought the algorithms were designed to do was like to map out human consciousness as if we were actually studying humanity from like eons and eons and eons and monitoring their rate of evolution. So that's the feeling, that's the energy I got from behind what I was doing, but I can't prove it, you know what I mean? But it was as if we were monitoring, and it was like predictive programming, like if this happens then this will happen and humanity will do this and that and third. And so we're trying to cover all these bases and all of these timelines out there, you know. But I don't know, sis. You know, I'm not the only one. Like I have another sister that described the same scene. I have a brother that was out there that he said he saw me out there, like on the university steps, and he kind of waved to me, and I told him to leave me alone, and he vanished. Now this is what he said to me. You know, I'm normally not that rude, but apparently I didn't want to be bothered up there. But what I'm saying is, these are things that
Yeah.
really go on.
And
I've
let me know
also
if you
seen.
see me
Go
there.
ahead.
Let me know if you see me there. Let me know if you've
I
seen
got
me
you.
there, as I think I've seen you there.
And sometimes we're in this light body form. Sometimes we're in this light body form where the face can't really be, you know, seen, but you can recognize the
Feel the
energy or the way
energy.
that they're talking.
The
Yeah,
energy. You can feel the person's energy no matter what type of physicality they have. And is that's how you recognize other souls, no matter what body or whatever you're in. It's
that's
by that.
right.
Yeah. So
Because everybody, every being has their own unique energetic signature, and it follows you no matter where you go. You can, I mean, here's an example for you. You ever try to get somebody try to catfish you, but you can read the energy and know exactly who that person is?
oh yeah.
Okay, that's what that's the type of things that I'm talking about. I don't care what you're saying you are. I can see your energy, and a lot of times when it comes down to even those energetic signatures, they're cross multi-dimensional. Like you get the same energy can be felt in the past that they can in the present, and you will know them that way. You know,
Yes.
so I mean, a lot of things that we get to experience in these other realms, we bring back here to the earth. And we bring back here to the earth so we can teach our brothers and sisters, and not only just teach them, but we're helping to raise their consciousness too. We're
Absolutely.
helping to get them to understand, some of these concepts that is not written anywhere. We're the book,
Hmm.
right? We're
Yeah.
the walking, talking book. We're the walking, talking representation of the creator,
Right.
So we got to go to school too.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone does. Everyone does. It's a never-ending learning experience for sure. That's something else I was going to ask you. Um,
Yeah.
what was it? I forgot. Um, it's just so fascinating listening to you affirm all of these things that I've also experienced as well.
Good.
And I always tell people sometimes I feel like I'm from the future
I know. I
and
know.
I'm here. It's almost like an ancient future. It's like I don't know. It's another dimension, really. But yeah, the way we see time here is very different. And I completely get what you're saying about studying humanity. I feel like I came in like really also being interested in studying humanity from different perspectives. I have a love for psychology, as not only just spiritually, but I have a love for psychology
Me too.
from that standpoint as well.
Yeah.
And so human beings are just fascinating. And then us living in these human bodies and then experiencing it and then being you're a wayshore, you're keeper of ancient knowledge and wisdom and things like that. And
Right.
sometimes a lot of people don't understand what you're saying, because they're coming from the standpoint of just not being there yet or they're not ready. So
Right.
I posted something today speaking on the ancient roots of the holiday of Easter, right? Which was
Okay. What,
the
Ishtar?
Ishtar. Um, and of course, somebody came on and said there's only one God, which had nothing to do with what I was saying. But, you know, what I was trying to explain was that Ishtar originated, the holiday we call Easter, before it was attached to Christianity, was a part of ancient Babylonian, the goddess
Right.
Ishtar for fertility, right? And so someone said, there's only one God. Um, okay, but there are so many different aspects of God. God has so many different, like you say, we're emanations, right? And
Right.
um, God has so many different expressions. It's not just something that we're disconnected from. The Creator is in all of us and in everything. So,
Right.
including all of the manifested gods and goddesses of all of the world's religions,
Right.
they they too are simply energetic expressions of the divine in their own individualized way.
Right.
So
Right. 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 Right.
there is
Um,
one source, but from that one source is many.
come many. Right,
Right.
right. Because, one could even say that this is the way that source is actually experiencing its creation,
It
right? One could say
is.
that source or the creator is living and experiencing through this. And guess what? I think that when we go back up there, to those schools, we figure out, oh, well, we messed that one up. So let's go back to the drawing board. Okay.
Yeah.
There were certain things that, like I said, when we read these religious texts, a lot of times they are very, very layered, right? So you can see things from this practical point of view, okay? You can see things from, the physical portion of it. But do you pay attention as it starts to come alive to you to realize that a lot of these things that are happening on the earth realm is actually happening up there, right? So when we're saying, all right, judge not. Here's one of my favorite ones in the Bible. Judge not, lest ye be judged. but by the same measure that you judge others, you will be judged. Now, from a human experience, we can say, okay, I'm not going to judge my neighbors or, my cousins or this, that, and the third, because I don't want to be judged by that. But what if that also applied to the angelic realm? What if that also applied to the Elohim realm? What if, that they have to come back, especially, if they were down here messing up? We all know those stories, right? They came down here and messed up and all of that stuff. So now you got to walk out that human journey. You got to walk out that experience. And now you have to be judged the same way that you put all that pressure on humanity, right? People, I think on levels like that, which I know is not really normal, but I try to present these things. I know I'm not crazy. I've been called that a few times and I'm okay with it. But, the way that I process this whole experience is not the same as, would be the norm.
Right.
Because I'm looking at it from different vantage points. I'm looking at it from, okay, yes, it says this, and we can argue back and forth about this on this layer, but how are you going to defeat it on this layer or that layer or that layer? We can go on and on and on, right? So I believe that we are correcting ourselves, when it comes down to what we put in place, was it effective? Was it effective to grow humanity or to lead them to the highest light? Was it effective enough to lead them to the creator? Was it effective enough to lead them to their higher selves? And if it was not effective enough, okay, what do we now need to do to change this around? And we come down here, we share this, and we become about that action now. All of this.
Yeah.
We're not there anymore. We left that. When we just started waking up. But right now, we're about that action. How are we, like you said, change starts with us, right? How are we going to use all of these experiences that we are getting for the benefit of our brothers and sisters and humanity as a whole?
Right. And I think it's important also to mention that some of us who are here to do this work, that it is only for a specific group of people, right? Or type of people.
Right.
Not everybody is meant for the masses, or maybe at certain different times, So yeah, it's important not to get frustrated with people. That's been one of my lessons, right? Because you see people and they can experience a better life, right? And you want to help them because that's the type of soul that you are.
Right.
And when you have to sit back and watch them, because you can't do it for them. And you have to also understand everybody has different timing as when they're going to awaken to certain understandings, or even if they awaken at all in this life.
Free will. Right.
Free will, you have no control of that. But what are you doing? You're doing what you're supposed to do. You're putting the energy out there you're supposed to be putting out there. You're reaching the souls you're meant to reach. And you're living the medicine, and you're living your purpose.
Right. So are you.
Yes, exactly. We both are. And when you awaken to your true purpose, when you strip away, like you say, all those labels and things, and dependencies on other systems and traditions, that's when like who you really are. Like you are operating from your authentic soul signature. And it's not for the faint of heart to get to that point. Some people don't want to get to that point. They're scared to get to that point.
Well, I'll be honest, if I'd have known what it was going to, entail, I might have been one that said, I don't want to get to that point either, because, it's a point of isolation. You have to, things get stripped from you. People get stripped from you. Places get stripped from you. And you got to learn how to practice that type of detachment, not even just from the soul, from the body, but everything that surrounds you that you may have deemed as being important is no longer important to you anymore. Things that you put so much weight on, it's not important to you anymore. There was a time in my journey where I would just want to fight, all the time. I want to defend, what my truth was. I'm not at that place anymore. Okay. Because truth needs no defense. It simply is. And once you start to recognize it, once you start to understand truth, you're either going to walk in it or you're going to turn your back on it. But there's no point in us, even going through those types of things. We let humanity do what they do. We let each other do what they do. And since everybody has their own experience with the creator, then we allow them to experience it. And we just keep going to the stars. Now, I'm going to share this one. I'm going to share this one. Okay, because I don't think I've shared this with my audience before. I don't think I have.
What is it?
So this had nothing to do with the mushroom trip or the ayahuasca trip. Both of those trips were kind of designed for me to heal myself, and I literally had a point of view. Oh, guess what? Guess who just showed up?
Who showed up?
Ancient Watchman is here. Hold on, we thought he was gone. We had to pull it by ourselves. Where have you been? How are you?
My bad. Hey, my bad. I was confused about the time zones. We're like in a different time zone, so it's like it's hard to keep up sometimes. But I'm here. My name is Shamar. For everybody that do not know me, I don't know. You can ask me anything you guys want. I'm just here to share whatever the spirit leads us to share. Because we're literally being led by spirit, and
Right.
This is the age of knowledge. This is the age of tapping into like divine wisdom, outside even the books that we believe in. And I know that there's a lot of with a lot of higher wisdom, such as the Oaspi Bible. Shout out to the brothers out there. Sila Shalom, everybody. And the Oaspi gang. Shout out to you guys. You guys have put in a lot of work to expose the lies from the false gods and the false, deities that many people call creator and God and Father, and that's why all these religions were created. But we're here to really awaken from like the slumber, I don't know, the dream, because we're in a dream, and part of that dream, part of the awakening process is for us to eat the plant medicines that are here to assist in the human evolution of the human race. Blacks, Hispanics, yellows, greens, purples, you name it, all types of organisms that live on this planet, and the division has been set up because of organized religion. But this is one of the reasons why the government of the United States has demonized beautiful plant teachers, because at the end of the day, they have been here longer than we have ever been here on this planet. They know wisdom. They understand the water wells of the wisdom of the cosmos. They know better than we do. And so the problem with a lot of the governments is that they want to shut that down because it gives the humanity a fighting chance to really awaken from the matrix itself. And so that's basically what these plants are here for. These plants are here to assist the entire human race into the new shift of this consciousness that's taking place at this very moment. And that's why we can see the economies freaking out, falling down, so on and so forth. Medicine is, a lot of medicine knowledge is bringing forward viruses and whatnot, all to set up to create a virus fear, so that the sons of light not really awaken from slumber that most of us have been in for thousands of years throughout, all of our incarnations on this planet. But that's what plant medicine.
I am glad that you're here because I had so many questions about, plant medicine and different types of plant medicines. And I was hoping that you would help educate the audience a little bit about it. Like, what services do you actually offer?
Well, right now, first and foremost, let me kind of show you guys that, a lot of these plant medicines are not for everybody. Okay, that's first and foremost. I want to explain that because, and what I'm about to say, it might be a little triggering for a lot of people, but I think it's something that has to be said, that a lot of brothers and sisters, whether it be Europeans and Chinese and other races, they just want to cross it on a checklist, on a bucket list. Oh, well, I gotta try ayahuasca. Oh, I gotta try peyote. I gotta try hape. I gotta try combo. I gotta try whatever mushrooms and so on and so
Right.
forth. Well, that's not what it's like. You first and foremost, like the most important thing for us to understand is become aware of our own shit, our own darkness, our own selves, our own divinity also as well, right?
Yes.
Because it's through that process that you set that foundation so that the plants are gonna call you. You know, the plants are beings. They have a spirit within them. There's an entire network of them feeding information to each other for thousands of years.
Right.
Again, you know, we can talk about mycelium, how mycelium is scattered abroad as the internet of the ethereal realms. You know, part of the Akashic records is that connection to plants, because the plants are here. They have already downloaded all the information that there is to be for the existence of the planet, whether it be 1 million years, 50 million years, whatever thousand years. You know? So they know. So our plan is to reconnect to the divinity of God that is inside of ourselves. So plant medicine is not for
Mm-hmm.
everybody, because
Right.
oftentimes what happens is that a lot of people go and they want to sit down with ayahuasca. Ayahuasca is one of the most powerful teachers that you guys can sit down with. I had the privilege and honor to sit down with a shaman from the Amazons, and my experience for 3 days and 3 nights was just out of this world. Once you come back from that and you come back into the real world, you would not recognize this planet. Why? Because the your consciousness has elevated so much, and depending on your experience, you know, I'm not here to share my experience. I would like to share that experience. If anybody's interested in sitting down with me in a sacred circle, because as a matter of fact, I tell brothers from the OASP gang that I'm traveling with plant medicine right now. I'm doing a tour. I'm gonna be in California soon in a couple weeks, or maybe like a week, and I'm gonna start my tour there. I'm gonna go to Las Vegas. I'm gonna go to Utah. I'm gonna go to Arizona, and I'm gonna open up a sacred space for everybody that's ready, that has done the work of acknowledging your own bullshit, acknowledging our own shit, our own divinity as well. And once we do that, then when you sit down with plant medicine, your journey is more of a teaching. You sitting down with the elders, you know, the leaders that are there in the third realm.
Mhm.
So it's much easier for the individual that's interested in with plant medicine to experience a profound experience, not a negative one. Now, the negative ones
Right.
are also great because we also learn from the negative and the darkness. You know, that's part of the duality of existence, to
Right.
learn from the negative and the positive, you know, and then
Yeah.
combine it all.
Mhm.
But, you know, ideally, you know, like when we do the work, the great work of doing the shadow work, going through the night, the night shadow of the soul, or whatever, you
The
know,
dark night
the
of the
valley.
soul.
Night of the
Dark night of
Soul?
the soul.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yo,
Dark Night
yeah,
of
that's
the
the
valley,
yeah.
the valley of shadow of death, you know, where we literally die. And so these plant medicines, you know, now for I don't know, I want to say, I'm not advocating nobody to do any drugs or anything illegal. I just want to say that out there for the audience and the government that might be watching, because you know they keep an eye on everybody. So, but one of the great words of Terence McKenna was that he said that these plants basically break the illusion of our existence and our races.
They
Oh,
do.
you're African, you're Mexican, you're Aztec, you're Incan, you're I don't know, whatever race everybody's claiming, and that's basically part of the division as well. So
Right.
when we sit down with these amazing plant teachers, the idea is to humble down. The idea is to come in like you don't know anything, because at the end of the day, my second night with grandmother ayahuasca, um, I thought I knew stuff. I thought I had knowledge of things. I thought, you know, I'm quick witted with my information.
Right.
But when I went and sit down with like the elders from the libraries of the Akasha, you know, many people call it Akasha, but you know, it's just a library. You know, it's an ancient
Right.
library. So I went in there, And I thought I knew stuff. So I started asking these elders, these librarians or whatever. They're beautiful beings, they
Right.
look they look young, but you can tell they're ancient. So I began to ask them questions, and they just grab a book, and without opening the book, they started explaining all of it. They started explaining how the
Mm,
universe worked and how the creation was came about. And I was just mind blown. I was like, I thought I knew stuff. So when we come in with these plant medicines, it's better to like set the intentions of what you want to
right.
learn and what information you would like to get, more into the fact that the human race is being ruled by wounded children, right? Because everybody carries an inner child within ourselves, an inner woman, an inner girl,
Yes. Yeah.
Thank
and
you for saying that.
yeah, and that inner child gets wounded through our life experience when we were growing up, and so
Right.
that creates the foundation of the subconscious self that
Right.
drives our existence all the way when we are adults. And so when we become
Right.
adults, we think we're in the right, or we think this and that and the third, but like we need to get checked with the reality. So that's what these plans do. You get a reality check, and they bring you back
Oh
to the
yeah.
beginning, and but
Wait a
yeah,
minute
so
before you keep going, Agent Watchman, because Sissy Tikva has been sitting this question up for a minute for you, and she wants to know: can a change in diet aid in alopecia for men and women? Changing the diet.
well, for example, when you go into ayahuasca, you're not supposed to eat pork. You're not supposed to eat any meats.
Right.
Do a vegetarian diet. No alcohol, no sex, no weed, none of that stuff. Why? Because you're gonna enter into a powerful world. You enter into this realm of the gods. And the reason why we use plants to talk to the gods is because you cannot talk with God in this flesh, right? This flesh is not made for the ethereal realms. This flesh is made to experience the three-dimensional world on this planet, right? The
Right.
flesh and
Mhm.
bone and all that. But
Right.
what these plant medicines do is like you sit down with like the elders, the great spirit in their realms, in their spirit realm with your
Right.
consciousness and soul, sitting down in their temples or in their realms, in their kingdoms. But going
See,
back to your
Cat, we're
question,
not
so
crazy.
No, absolutely not
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. So diet plays an important role again and so different plants have different diets. Like if you want to do combo, you need to drink a lot of water to hydrate yourself, because combo is basically like a water element medicine. And combo is great to do a lymphatic system cleanse, which is very important, because the lymphatic system is basically like the sewage system of yourself, of your biology. So a lot of these plant medicines that were given to the tribes, indigenous tribes in South America, in Africa, there's a lot of beautiful shamans in Africa. So shamanism is not, it's not
Yeah.
just for the South Americans. Shamanism is a
Right.
knowledge that was scattered abroad in every culture. Chinese, Africans, South Africans, Middle Eastern, Europeans are there shamans there. You guys call them the druids, which is another thing with like the St. Patrick's Day. That was the idea that Saint Patrick went and basically killed all the snakes that were living in Ireland. The snakes were basically
Pagan.
shamans.
Yeah.
Yeah, pagans were called the snakes, but in reality, the word
Right.
snakes means the knowledge that predates all the pre-Adamites, that goes back to ancient times. So shamanism, it's just an umbrella term for like the healers, the so-called medicine men, medicine woman, these titles that were given to the chiefs of the tribes back in those days, to connect with the spirit realm through the animals, and that's
Mhm.
why you guys the animus mundi animus, I think, which is basically dealing with all the souls and the spirit realms and the spirits themselves, the gods, and that's basically where you guys can commune with the gods. But diets play an important role on that. Like when I do mushroom ceremonies for people or for myself, I fast the whole day. Yeah, no water, nothing, just
I
a
didn't
whole
know that.
fast day. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you cleanse your temple.
Yeah.
Yeah, you cleanse your temple, and then you go in, and it's such a more sacred experience, more profound, where you can just sit down and learn, and just there you talk, with the beings, and you guide it to like medicine or whatever,
Yeah.
healing yourself too,
Right.
like I remember my first
I
mushroom
got.
experience was.
Wait a
Go
minute.
ahead.
Wait a minute, Watchman. I got another question for you. Uh, Jamia, she wants to know if you have a video giving your testimony of belong in the library. Do you have a video of your testimony? Let's put it like that.
I haven't
Or
created
something
like
that she,
well,
I guess everybody's curious about something.
yeah, I did a little, like a little after ceremony reaction video type of deal on my Facebook, on my
Uh-huh.
YouTube account, but it's not in detail because one of the things about you diving into these ceremonies, right?
Uh-huh.
Like it's like when we dive into the ceremonies and you have a mystical experience, it's best not to share with the people right away, because when you have that mystical experience, you're gonna learn like all the lessons that you were shown throughout months, maybe like a year. And that's basically what happened to me during my three ayahuasca ceremonies. Like I had so much that I wanted to speak on, but the shaman
Right.
said like, do not share nothing, just let the spirit guide you, because the lessons, the visuals, the visions that you were shown and the places that you went to, they mean something through your at a personal level, and you're gonna discover that later on. So that's why I haven't shared anything like that, but like soon I'm planning to do like a whole sharing of my three ayahuasca nights. And it was literally 5 days, but
Mm,
it was it was mind blowing. I would like to share all of that with you guys. I think I'm ready, because now everything that I was shown, now it makes sense. Now it makes sense. So
right.
it's important to, not to brag about like, oh yeah, listen to my mushroom experience, and you go out there and share. Just wait a minute, let the medicine dwell within your body, within your energetic self, and let it
Right.
teach you. Like eventually, like a few months later, after a year, you're gonna come out with like, wiser, because you learn from it. you know
Right. So
Yeah.
what you mean is basically, so you may experience something and then you may not know what it means at that moment, but that spirit
Right.
reveals it for a period of time. And so that's why you
Right.
sort of have to marinate on that. Okay, thank you for
Right.
sharing.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, exactly,
Because
yeah.
some of those experiences don't make sense right then and there. Even when I'm dealing with astral travel, I don't know what I'm making out. But later on in life, I know that there's a reason that I may need to apply it. And that typically is what opens me up to have the ability to do that. So I get exactly what he's saying.
Yeah.
Can you teach us the different types of plants that you are familiar with and what they're designed to do?
Yeah, let me show you in a minute. Hold on, I'll be back.
I'm glad he shared that also about the the dietary preparation. A lot of people aren't aware of that. I wasn't aware of that. So good
I was
information.
aware of it, and that's why it made me so sick. Like I felt like I took it on an empty stomach, and that nausea was it was
Oh
so
my.
bad. It was so bad, guys.
Yeah, and a lot of times, like, not for example, if you're doing bufo, which is 5-MeO DMT, which is it's called the God's molecule. If you do it like on a full stomach, it's it will be harder for you to traverse the veil, and you're gonna start like cleansing, biologically, physically, and sometimes energetically. You're cleansing. You think you're throwing up, and there's nothing there in the bucket, but you're like cleansing your energetic bodies, your layers. So
Mm,
you cleanse yourself with that, and so you gotta surrender and just let it be. Like I remember my first night of ayahuasca, like I basically like purged the whole night while having like these powerful visions and teachings, and while going into different realms. And I was like, but I did purge like physically and emotionally and energetically as well. So, but um, there's different plant medicines out there. Right now, I'm working with like this is called hape.
Mm.
Hape like
It
snuff.
looks like a magic potion, doesn't it?
And that
Uh,
goes up the nostril, right?
it goes on the nostril through a teepee right here. You just
Okay.
blow it, and my shaman taught me like well he taught us different blows, but like there's different blows that we blow on people, and the importance about blow is that um, to remember that your own breath is the breath of life. Like
Mm,
when we breathe, we're not conscious that like what we're literally breathing is the spirit of God that dwells all throughout the planet, like
Yes.
mm,
every single day. Primordial forces, right? These are the great primordial forces that are part of the creator, like creating it's an ongoing creation, like we breathing in and out, in and
Mhm.
out. So the primordial being is present as we blow, and when you set your intention, and use the breath of life to blow. And there's different blows, but what that does is that's like energetic cleanses, is antifungal, antivirus.
mm.
There, yeah, over here, right here, in this part, there's like this little tree with nerves that bypasses the blood barrier, and connects the air to the CFS, which is the spinal fluid that runs through our spine all the way through our brain, that presses into the third ventricle to activate the pineal gland. And so when you blow, you
Mm.
basically clean all that I don't know, the energetic um, parasites, I would say,
Okay.
negative
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, yeah.
thoughts, the self-doubt, fear, and all that stuff. And so it clears all that out, but also at the same time, because whoever's gonna blow, you as the server, as the facilitator, you blow in your own essence into the person. So it's best that the person that's blowing this powerful medicine is centered and balanced within himself
Right.
before medicine, because it's an exchange of energy. You know what I'm saying? And that's even in the
Right.
Bible says that do not be quick to lay hands on people. Why? Because there's a transfer of energy,
Right.
right?
Right.
And so
Exactly.
Mhm.
that's why this is a little long, so that we can stay away from each other, because you're staying in your own energy space while I'm staying on my space over here, but we're connecting through the breath of life, which is the Nashamahaya, which is
Mm.
and everywhere as we speak right now. He is with us right now, in and
Mhm.
out.
Mhm.
Oh my God. I love it.
I have a
I
So
love
question
it.
for you. How do you know that you're getting I've been wanting to try hoppy as well, and I haven't tried it because I'm waiting for spirit to reveal the right person, the right situation, and the right timing. Um, but also, how do you know that you're getting the plant from the tribes and it's not, so and so in his garage somewhere, and it's not the authentic herb? How does one go about getting the real, authentic, spirit blessed plant?
well, this hopper right here, it was straight given to me by the shamans themselves that made it. When last year I received, well, anybody that's interested in buying, inbox me. I'll let you guys know, or send you to the right person. But this is happened made by the shaman that I was privileged enough and honored enough to sit down with last year, that during my initiation with ayahuasca. So they made the hape themselves. They smashed the plants. They mix it with the ashes, and they use this. Well, there's different types of hape. This hape is a ceremonial hape. It's very strong. It's so grounding. And this is what I use when I open up circle.
Mhm.
To open up a sacred circle, you have to ground everybody. Everybody has to be grounded first before
Right.
we, dwell with the energies and dwell with the elementals and the primordial forces, fire, water. These are primordial forces that they're powerful healers, you know. So
Yes, absolutely.
this is not made by nobody but the tribes that I deal with, you know, the tribes from South America directly from it. So it's not, you know, it's not diluted. It's you know, they
Mhm.
put their intentions, everything when they make it happen, they going into an ayahuasca ceremony first. And the beings from that they talk to, they show them like this plant serves for such and such. This plant serves for such and such. Well, and this root over here on this these seed or this root, they're shown. So a lot of these plants that I carry with myself,
Mhm.
that I serve, are, you know, they're sacred plants, like literally sacred plants, you know.
That,
Mm.
And
yeah, that's beautiful.
Okay, so the Bronx Yogi said he has some. I think I might butcher this, so correct me. Forca native Kumaru.
Kumaru,
I
oh, is that
think
like,
that's how you pronounce it.
well, I don't know, he might be talking about
Okay,
Quetzalcoatl.
Nativa. Okay, he said Forca nativa Kumaru.
Oh yeah, yeah, that, I think that's a hoppet too. I mean, there's types of hoppets. I don't know if he's referring to a hoppet name, but there's like literally a lot of hoppets. Again, that different hoppets that different plant roots and different plant bases, you know. So some plants are made through barks, from special tree barks, and others with roots, and others with leaves, and others it's a mixture of tobacco, from South America, mixed with like a lot of these plants. This is called imaru plant.
Okay,
Mm.
okay,
Yeah,
very
yeah. But you know, there's like Sunu, there's like Mother Rose, you know, that's like a more feminine hape.
I heard of
There's
that.
it's more subtle, you know, it's used for like vivid dreams, or like if you want to go deeper into the lucid dreaming, you know, there's a hape for that, and there's a blow. There's also a blow special for that, you know. So that's you know, these are and when you guys do hape, you know, it just grounds you to the point that you feel like you're nailed into the ground, like imagine that you're a
Mm,
nail, you're smashing to
yeah,
the ground, and the wind is blowing, you know, in every direction. Well, that's how you feel like when you do hape. Hape basically grounds all your energies down, and it's best to do it like, when you're shoeless, like, you know, make sure you're grounding yourself on the ground with no shoes, you
right,
know.
Right, right.
right, right.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I get that.
okay, so there's a lot of people that is really interested in you. So when you're saying give you drop a note in your inbox, you want to type in how people can find you, how they can order these things from you. You know, you want to give us your information, bruh?
Yeah, well, like I said, right now I'm traveling to California soon. I'm gonna see brother. There's a brother from the Waspi gang. He wants to sit down with like a powerful initiation. So I'm gonna go over there, and I'm gonna travel to
Nice.
Vegas, Utah, Arizona, Minnesota, Chicago,
Well,
Tennessee,
nice.
Georgia, Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, Texas,
Okay.
Colorado, and I'm gonna head back. So if you guys live in those states that I just mentioned,
I do.
you know, give me a
Me too.
holla, and you know, let's create a sacred circle, and let's help each other heal. Because as we
Definitely.
heal ourselves, we can heal the world. We cannot go
Right.
outside as we go inward first. You know, that's one of the false teachings from the New Age movement, is that everything's about love, love and peace. And although it is, we must understand that there's darkness in the world, there's injustice in the world, there's evil in the world, and we ourselves also carry certain darkness, certain spiritual diseases, disease of the soul and mind and the
Wow,
spirit.
yeah.
Sometimes like our spirits are enslaved in these realms of dogmas and religions and fears and doubts, all that stuff. So all that, you know, the plant medicine, and they're the ones that kind of like lead you or give you the tools that you need. And again, you know, I don't want to step into anybody's toes. I'm like big guys that are watching, big brother that watch.
Right.
I don't want to step on their toes, but a lot of these medicines have offered a lot of more hope to the people than a lot of this medicine that is killing the people. You know, like people have side effects about suicide, and you're more prone to die if you take antidepressants and all that crap that is destroying the human mind and the human psyche and the body as well. And so, you know, it's just witchcraft that's basically enslaving the people. But these plant medicines are the solution. So
I agree, 100%.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah, so you guys can find me on Facebook, DM me on Facebook. You guys can, if you guys want to write down my number, 702-583-0366. My name is Shamar. I was with the Ancient Watchmen. I used to battle the One West doctrines, you know, the Black Hebrew Israelites. I was part of their camps for eight
We all
years. I
came
was
from the
I,
same.
yeah, I was part of IUIC. I was part of the Confederate camp. That was my first camp. Then I left that because I didn't believe in Jermaine being the Holy Spirit. So then I followed the teachings of Nathaniel, IUIC, and then I found out that they were also lying, and I called them out, and that's why I got kicked out from IUIC. I was excommunicated because I called them out on their doctrines, and so you know, the fact of the matter is that the truth will always shine regardless, and anybody that stands with the truth will always shine. You know, and that's
Right.
basically what we want to do. These plant medicines are here to help us enlighten the way so that you know we live in a better world, because the way the world is going right now is very demonic. There's really dark forces at play right now in this place and in the other
Mhm.
places outside. So the world is headed into a strange place, but it's within the strange place that the human race is gonna find the light within that rubble.
Right.
But
Yeah.
Typically, you
everything
go
has,
through the dark to get to the light anyway. Tikva says she had a phone call during the time that she asked her question. So I asked her to redo it again. And she said, can your change of diet aid in alopecia for men and women?
what was that again? My
My
bad.
hand. Can your change of diet aid in alopecia for men and women?
I don't know what the alopecia is, but
I think it's
a
hair
lot of
thinning. Like, do you have anything?
Yeah,
I
it's
think
it's
alopecia, if
everything.
I'm not mistaken, is hair thinning or hair
oh,
loss.
well, first and foremost, you know, like we have to be real, right? A lot of people put a lot of chemicals in their heads. You know, I would suggest first go if you can do the most possible, go organic when it comes to the shampoos that you guys use for your hair.
Yeah.
Don't put any chemicals, you know. One secret that you guys can use is you can make juice with like onion. Make onion juice, a little bit of honey, and use that and put it on your scalp. You know, just massage
Look at
it.
his mane.
Uh, yeah,
I just said, yeah, look at
massage
his
it,
mane.
and then you can wash it. You know, wash it with warm water. But you can do that like 3 times a day. I mean, there's a lot of recipes out there. If you go to Pinterest, you go to, I don't know, there's a lot of recipes where you guys can help strengthen your hair, make it more thicker, make it not to fall. I use organic shampoos myself. I try not to use as many chemicals for myself, but you know, we live in a world that everything's chemicals, everything's
Everything.
poison, everything's bullshit, everything's GMO, and it's just a bunch of crap. But um, I mean, I'm tired of that, but you know, it is what it is.
Mm.
Okay. All right. She says she was just asking for a friend. Did he answer the question to your satisfaction, Sissy? No.
But yeah, so
Tikva?
there's like different plants that you guys can look into, you know. There's mushrooms, there's peyote, there's ayahuasca, there's kambo, um, there's hape, there's sananga for the eyes, you know. And again, like I was saying, that even within sacred circles, like sometimes people experience like healing, like to the utmost. Like we're talking about diseases that are not curable, and I don't want to name names because I don't want your channel to get flagged. But
Right.
within these circles, this is you guys can create your own magic. You guys, they call it. There's the placebo effect. That's what it's called. It's called the
Yeah.
placebo effect. Well, you guys know that the placebo effect is created by your own energy, your own feeling, and that's how you create magic. Magic. A lot of people don't believe in magic because they haven't seen it, but magic is created by your own self, your own
Right.
intention, your own words.
Intention.
Our words have power.
Absolutely.
The life and death is in the power of the tongue. So when
Right.
that's why it's important to be careful how you guys speak to yourselves, how we even think about ourselves too, because your emotion is vibration and frequency. And remember
Right.
what Tesla said. Tesla said that the secrets of the universe are found with frequency, sound, and light, or whatever.
Yes.
So all that is like, and that's why Christ is saying like the kingdom of God
In
is
a deep
within you.
frequency and vibration. Yeah.
Right, right. So
Wonderful. Okay. All right. I live in North Carolina, so whenever you hit this way, you got to hit me up. Okay. And I already got a meditation group anyway. Okay. So we would love to go ahead and join you with that experience and see what we can learn. That would be amazing.
that will be amazing. It will be an honor to meet you guys. Anybody that wants to sit down, prepare yourselves. If we're meeting, if you're gonna sit down within Sacred Circle, the medicine that I bring is very powerful. This is gonna be an initiation into these powerful plant medicines. It was my initiation 3 years ago, and I would like to give you guys that as well. It's gonna be very powerful. So be ready with like, if you guys are gonna sit down with me, I suggest you guys fast for 12 hours prior to the sacred medicine circle. 12 hours fasting, 2 hours no water prior to the medicine, and then just be ready for that day when it comes. And I look forward in meeting some of you guys, or most of you, if you guys are willing, you guys are ready, and you guys are brave, because this is it's no joke. It's no joke.
I know.
I'm located in South Florida, so yeah, that's where I'm located at. And
what part is that? What part?
Palm Beach, West Palm Beach.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah, I've been there. I used to live there. I used to live in Orlando, but I used to live in Orlando. I loved it. I miss Florida, but I'll be in Florida. There's people that we're gonna gather with, and I would love to have you as well, and then we can break bread and heal each other and go deeper within ourselves. And yeah, just be ready, because one of the things that I warn people is that be ready for the change that you're gonna experience after sitting down with like these powerful initiations, because you're gonna everybody.
Can't get
Yeah.
words. Tikva, Sister Tikva says she wants to know what part of Georgia. Do you know what part of Georgia you're going?
I'm not sure yet. I'm still working on all the details with a lot of people, But once I find out, I'm gonna create like a maybe a chat group where we can all. I'm gonna send like the last, I would say the last instructions before we meet, and once we meet, that's gonna be more private, where we can dive deep into ourselves and our traumas, and link up our own energy to create a beautiful circle of healing and alignment and freedom of the soul and the mind. So it's underway. So I'm ready, and when you guys are ready as well, I'll see you guys around. I hope you guys and experience this powerful initiation with you guys, because as you guys heal, as we heal, we heal others. As you guys heal, we heal each other. And so it's like energy attracts, so we're attracted. Yeah, so there's like a connection in the spiritual level. So whoever listens to the message, you guys know where to go, and I hope to meet you guys, and it's gonna be powerful.
Well,
very
I'm
powerful.
so glad that you finally showed up, and I think everybody enjoyed you. And I just want to ask the audience if you have any more questions before I wrap this up, to go ahead and to ask them now.
Before
Okay.
we go, can I play before we go or no?
Oh,
Oh,
please.
of course.
Yes, please
Okay.
do.
Yeah, but if anybody else have any questions, let me know before I play, and then I'm gonna sign out after I finish playing. But I would love to share this song with the crowd and everybody, and music is very powerful. It's the language of the gods, and
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
whether
I
whether you're
love.
singing, yeah, whether you're singing, whether you're humming and whistling and clapping your hands and tapping your feet, it's all music. It's all frequency,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
the power is the intention. That's where the power lies.
Ready? Mm.
Shara shara.
Thank you.
I'll
Thank
see you guys
you.
out
Thank you.
for sure.
All right.
So
Thanks
much.
for inviting me. It's good to meet you, Sister Kat and Sister Sophie. It was a pleasure to be here and share a little bit of my spirit with you guys and a little bit of my energy with you guys. And I hope
Yeah.
to, share more of our energies when we meet. And
Yes.
shara shara.
All right. Shalom. Peace. See
Peace.
you guys later. And I want to thank you, Kat, for filling in, the best that we could with and keeping it going, and sharing your experiences as well. So I do appreciate you here. And I just want to give a shout out to the CGG gang who joined in a little later on. And I hope you got a chance to see your brother in action and what he had to offer. And so, if you're in North Carolina, if you're in any of those places that he's at, just reach out to the brother and see what you might learn from him. Just no harm in that, right? Okay. And do you want to say anything? Any closing words, Kat?
No, I'm happy. Like I said, everything happens as it should. And I appreciate wonderful energy he had to share. And especially me being Afro Indigenous myself, I'm really happy with this new connection. And I'm gonna, look up his information and things like that and stay in touch. And I appreciate you for also having me on and exchanging and sharing energy the way that we do. I always love that as
Right.
well.
Right. We have a good time.
We
All
do.
right. So thank you guys for coming out and joining us, and have a wonderful evening. And I love you all. Bye bye.